Alright, so here we do have the strategy design pattern. I want to be going into the code in just a bit, so let's start. What is the strategy design pattern? Let's define the strategy design pattern. It defines a family of algorithms, but it is a family of strategies, multiple strategies. Each strategy, so one single strategy, is just one class, one in its own separate class. And the main benefit, one of the benefits of the strategy design pattern, while the program is running at runtime, the user is able to change the strategy at runtime without altering the code. What is the main benefit of this strategy? Again, one of them is you are able to change the strategy at runtime. Another one is that you are able to add another algorithm, another strategy, another class without modifying the code of the system. This has three main components, and I usually see them in a UML diagram. We're going to be going into a UML diagram in just a bit. Now, three components of this pattern. It is a context class, it is your strategy interface, which is an abstract class in Python. In Python, for an abstract classes, we do inherit from ABC module. And finally, the strategy classes. They can be 1, 2, 3, 4. What all your strategies. Maybe you have a credit card method. You can have one. You can have credit card, cash, bank transfer, PayPal. You name it. Now let's go to the context. So in the first component is the context class. Context class has main three parts. It maintains a reference, allows user to switch, and calls a method. Okay, so maintains the reference of the selected strategy. How does it do this? By aggregation, by having an object of the strategy as an attribute. An object of your strategy will be inside your context, and because it's inside, it is aggregation. Aggregation, because it's inside, it's created outside your init, hence it's aggregation. That is part one of your context. Again, maintains reference, or maybe holds an object of strategy, simple. And let's go to the second one. Allows the user to switch between different strategies. And again, a method which can change the strategy attribute, an object. And here it calls a method of strategy. Maybe we have a pay method, we have a deposit method, and so these methods must be present in the credit card bank. We're going to be showing you this in a moment. Now this is here an example. Payment context. Again, three main functions. Function 1 maintains a reference to your selected strategy. This here is an object of your strategy. Now your set payment strategy, this here is the exact same line as this. It changes your strategy. Lastly, makes a payment. So this function is present inside your object. So this here is an object of strategy containing a payment method. Let's go to the second component of your strategy, is your strategy interface class. This is an abstract class. It is an interface class. Abstract class declares a set of methods that must be implemented by all strategies. Look at this example. We are inheriting from ABC, and this is an abstract method. Recall that an abstract method is an empty method, and recall that an abstract class cannot be instantiated. Because it can't be instantiated, all strategy classes must implement this abstract class, and must contain the exact same number of methods, with the same function definition in the strategy classes. Now that is component 2. Component 3 is your strategy classes. I have provided you with an example. These all of them inherit from your abstract class. All of them inherit from your all of them do inherit from the interface class, your abstract class, and they all must implement the pay method, or else you would not be able to instantiate and you receive an error. These are your strategy classes. Now we have the UML diagram. The UML diagram, again, this here UML diagram is your this is the interface. This is your abstract, which inherits from ABC. This interface must be implemented by all your strategy classes. Notice they do have the execute method, execute. This method is empty, has just pass. As here shown, it just passes, does a pass. And so strategy classes must implement your interface. Now this is an abstract class, cannot be instantiated. in your context, three main things. It is the strategy object, that this object can be an object of this strategy or this strategy. In this UML diagram, I know they have aggregated an abstract class. An abstract class cannot be instantiated though. So now the set strategy will take a strategy and will alter this attribute, and do something will most probably call this execute function. So let's go into code. Let's go into a function. Yeah, so we have here a question, or this strategy. So a strategy defines a set of algorithms that can be used interchangeably. Now we have modes of transportation to an airport is an example of a strategy. Several options we have a driving car, we have a taxi, an airport shuttle, and a city bus. Let's go with the code. So here within the code, what is step 1? Your step 1 will be to start simple. So from ABC, import your ABC abstract method. Just we start with the interface class. What is our interface class? It is transportation. Transmode is our interface abstract class, and we should have maybe a transport method. Transport method. Self again. This is an empty. This is part 1, and we're done with part 1. This is simple part 1. We're done. Now what is your second step? Second step is to create your strategy classes. So we have a class strategy. We do have car, we do have bus, we do have taxi. So let's implement these. We have the car, which inherits from the trans car, and then the car must have the transport method and then maybe here we say do simple stuff. An imaginary situation. Car is moving. Now we go to implement now let's go with the bus class. So we have another class, let's call it with the bus transmode, and then def transport self print bus is moving. Now lastly, let's go with the taxi. So we have taxi class, transport, taxi is moving, and this is all for your strategy. This is your component 1, your interface class. Component 2 is your strategies, and so your final component is the most interesting one, where it is a context class. So let's call it class transport. Let's call it transport selector, or transmode, trans context. Let's go with trans context. It inherits from nothing. It does hold a reference. It does hold reference to your mode of transportation. Again, let's write a quick comment where what is mode? Transportation mode. This transportation mode, this is an object of strategy. This is an object of strategy, and always an init returns none. So this is another comment where always returns none. So this arrow just is a comment to the output. It's a comment. It's nothing really fancy, just a comment. Now self dot mode is equal to mode. Again, mode is an object. Now we have another method within your second method is set a transmode. Self takes in a mode of transportation. Implement self.mode is equal to mode. Now your third method will be do something. What is your do something method? Let's go with let's go with move. What does move do? So it goes with self.mode. Self.mode, then we'll call the transport method within your mode option. And that's it. That's all for the strategy design pattern. Let's actually now go and implement this we start firstly by creating a car class. So we have class car, we create a car object. Let's create another object, bus object. So bus is equal to a bus. Now second step is to instantiate your context. So here trans maybe manager, trans manager. This is our transportation manager. We forgot to put in the mode as an argument. So let's here again, car. Let's start with the car as our default mode. So trans.manager, let's trans.manager.move. So let's take this method and go with move. What happens? Expecting car is moving. Amazing. Now let's maybe change the transportation mode. So let's change the mode and go with set trans mode. Let's go with the bus. Oof, we've misspelled bus. Let's now go with the trans manager dot move. So dot move. So dot move. Oh, oops, sorry. Dot move, and voila, we have the bus is moving. And then you can now create another object, taxi, change the transportation mode, put in taxi inside, call the move, and taxi will be moving. And thank you all.